Familiar song, but
I know why you did this.
Of course, the famous version of that, Harry Nilsson, just a one, and
That's
probably
the
sung a
better
little
version.
better.
That's the better,
Yes, it
way
is.
better
I
version.
feel for people who actually write songs, and then somebody comes along and just does this stellar job, and you go back to the original. That's Badfinger, a band I love, and obviously that sings very well on stuff like Day After Day and Baby Blue. But Tom Evans of Badfinger wrote Without You, so he cashed some checks from Harry Nilsson. Tom Evans would have been 78 today. And here you are. Here's my buddy. Hi.
Hi. You want a great album? Nielsen Schmielsen.
Oh, no doubt.
One of my favorite albums.
You know what else is on there? I bet we can do it together. Ready? Party, coconut, party.
I know. But what a
coconut and drink a boat.
What a singular talent he was.
Jump into the fire. You know who he was just besties with? John Lennon.
Who?
Harry
Really?
Nilsson and oh my, yes.
Wow.
Oh, they were hanging together a lot. It was just
all right. We got a lot to unpack today.
Yes,
we got tons of stuff on a Thursday. Let me share with you something I've been wanting to get off my chest. I keep forgetting to bring it up. Mm-hmm. I'm poking into the Jake Tapper book. Now, I didn't buy it. I got it from a friend. Didn't pay a dime for it.
You gonna buy the Corinne Jean-Pierre book too, you traitor?
Right. I'm gonna. I gotta read her book.
I know. I
gotta see what an imbecile's book looks like. Isn't that funny? Now the Democrats have discovered she's an idiot.
I know. It should come in the form of a binder. Shouldn't you just open up a big 3-ring binder and read that book?
Yeah, with lots of notes. But anyway, so I'm reading the Biden book, and there was a reference there to the whole premise is the original sin is that he should have never, committed to run again. He should have stepped down when he could have. And there was a little passage that said, no one really thought that he would get shoved aside during the year leading up to the reelection. Now, I kept saying that. Well, wait a minute. When I would say that, can we remember, and your audience should call you out for this too.
You know what?
I kept saying it, and you kept saying, how's that going to happen, Mike?
Yep.
How can that possibly?
That's right.
I was right all along.
You absolutely were.
And I never get credit for it, so I'm giving myself credit for it, darn it.
And again, when might this have been? Out of springtime, maybe. I mean, March,
it would have been spring, March, all through the year.
You said he's not going to be on the ballot. He's not going to be on the ballot. I was enormously skeptical. I said, describe to me how it's not going to be 25th Amendment. I totally knew that was impossible.
Right.
And the other thing would involve Joe Biden looking into the camera and saying, I'm just not going to run, which I did not foresee. Most people didn't, but you, Nostradamus, you did.
I'm not a guy that toots his own horn too much, but I will say, especially when the book said, well, now nobody thought that he would get pushed aside all through the year. Yeah, I did. I was going to say, me. Please pay attention. No. All right. Look, I don't know what to do. This Elon Musk thing is now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Trump is pretty furious with him. Yeah. I kind of don't believe that because I wonder
not
why.
Publicly, when he's furious, don't you kind of know about it immediately? Doesn't he
right
vent
away
publicly about everything?
You think he's circumspect? You think he holds? You think he's not going to hold back? I mean, what would the benefit be for him to? And they are having a field day with President Trump's silence on this matter, and that's what makes this very confusing.
What do you think? What do you think his silence means?
I'm telling you, I got a hunch that it's all a ruse, that there's kind of a game plan here, good cop, bad cop. Trump wants lower spending. He wants to reduce the deficit. He knows it's a yeoman's task to do that. He's got to figure out a way to do it. Elon was leaving anyway because he's got to go back and take care of Tesla. Right. That's a publicly held company. It's tanking, and he's got to fix it. Which, by the way, now that he's doing this with Trump, it's getting even worse for him with Tesla. Have you noticed that? Their stock is plummeting, so that's not working. But it's almost like, I mean, would it surprise you if we learned one day that Trump and Elon hatched this plan? Would that surprise you?
Not in the least.
Right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what else. I don't know what else how else to describe it.
There's one other possibility, and I was going to say it wouldn't surprise me to learn that, but it doesn't mean that I subscribe fully to it. And I don't know if you're asserting that you know it. It's just a good, healthy suspicion, and that is that Elon's just being Elon. He is a business purist, feeling like he should be able to write a memo, call a meeting, and change everything in 48 hours, like he can at his companies. Government doesn't work that way. Trump and Mike Johnson, to a degree, even though Johnson's out there saying my friend Elon is totally mistaken about this bill, they are tolerant. They're maybe thinking, this is going to satisfy a certain part of the conservative base that did want a better, big, beautiful bill, that does want more of the Doge cuts to show up right here, right now. And maybe it just shows that at least that voice exists in the Trump sphere. It's not a bad thing. And if it results in some pressure that gives us a better, big, beautiful bill, so much the better.
So much, and I have faith and I trust that they're going to make it a better bill. I accept that it's not going to be as great as Ron Johnson wants it to be, but will it be enough for them to vote against it? I don't know. I hope better. Not.
We got to pass that. And I feel every time you say, you're saying, you and I are saying it, pass this thing, warts and all, pass it. It's better to pass it than to have it crash and burn for the overall Trump agenda for the midterms. Right. We gotta pass it.
But yet Elon is saying kill the bill.
I know. And do you feel that when we say that, though, we can almost hear some listeners saying, Mike, Mark, talk show boys, that's what everybody's told us forever. Just be patient. The real results are coming down the road. And by the way, people have said that, and they have lied. But if there is one presidency that is going to deliver and deserves patience and benefit of the doubt, it's this presidency.
I mean, look, there's no reason now to start thinking that we should doubt him. I trust people like Byron York. Byron wrote, "The big, beautiful bill is the embodiment of Trump 1 and 2. It would make permanent the top legislative achievement of his first term, the tax cuts. It fulfills the premier unkept promise of the first campaign, a border wall, an actual border wall. Now, make no mistake, the whole border wall gets funded. It's like 800 miles. It would make good on promises from the second campaign, no tax on tips. It's one long expression of Trump's priorities, which makes it extraordinary that Elon, at this late moment, and that's the other problem here. Mark, why does he wait until now? But Elon Musk is doing everything he can to kill it. Trump gave Musk influence and opportunities that, even with all his wealth, Musk would never have otherwise had, and now Musk is doing this. You can agree, writes Byron York, a smart guy, you can agree with the fiscal principles Elon says he is upholding, although precisely what he would do is not clear. But it's hard to imagine Trump and those around him are anything less than furious about Musk's continuing attacks. If they are, it's that Musk is just a loose cannon, and he's just
he might be. I mean, part of his genius might be he's a loose ball in a pinball machine, just following his own gravity. And you know.
Well, I know you've got a soft spot for Jessica Tarloff. I turned on the 5 yesterday. At least they're finally covering the Musk thing.
I
mean, I guess to it. Yeah, Laura Trump's not on the set, so maybe they figured it was okay to do it.
Veto power was not in effect.
But watching her absolutely eviscerate law enforcement and mock them and assault them.
For some weird. I was going to say, why did I miss the 5 yesterday? Duh, I was doing the Hugh Hewitt show. So what did she do?
The Democrats are now in a lather over masked ICE agents.
And now Jeffrey's talking about actually doxing ICE agents.
They're calling for ICE agents to get rid of the masks and have their identities released so that they can be harassed and assaulted and tortured by these lunatics. The activists who have no problem, whether it's putting bullets in the back of the United Healthcare CEO or swatting or doxing or all the crap that they do, they want to make these ICE law enforcement agents' lives hell. And there's Jessica. She dove right into that yesterday, and she said, they should be humiliated over what they're doing. They should be embarrassed. They're rounding up 17-year-olds who are on their way to class and blah, blah, blah. She doesn't, I can't believe, I got so angry. I thought, you terrible person. You terrible, terrible. And I know they like her, and I guess I would love to know, you and I are broadcasters, obviously, and we get into the business of things. They can tell you right now, I guarantee you, what the numbers look like when Harold Ford is on and what their ratings are like when she is on.
Love Harold. And Mike, I'm sorry, it's at your end. I'm getting a half-second clap back on me on your end, so make that stop.
Yeah, I got a mixed minus there. We fixed it. Yeah. No, I do too, although sometimes, look,
do you think Harold's faking it? That he's that his reasonableness, his affability is...
I think he's always been I think he's always been a moderate Democrat, a pretty good moderate Democrat, so no problem with him. I saw him on a plane once, and he looked at me, and this is when I was a Fox contributor, and so I knew he knew me, and he was like looking and staring, and I thought, it's one of those like, do I say hi? Does he say hi? If he says one more time, it's good to be back with you around the table.
It's a fun bit.
Shut up with the good to be back around the table. I hate that. It's like nails on a chalkboard. No. Look, but here's what I'm excited about tomorrow.
Yes.
I've decided, I found myself going down, I'm doom scrolling, I'm nervous about stuff, I'm anxious about Elon, there's a lot of bad news, and I'm forgetting all the great news that's out there. There is a ton. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow?
What do you do?
I'm going to do Good News Friday. I'm not going to do one topic that is contentious. I won't miss breaking news. I'll read breaking news like a newsman. I'll be like a newsman. But I am not going to do contentiousness. I'm not. And when I mentioned it the other day, the audience kind of lit up and they said, absolutely, it's a great idea. Now, I can see by the look on your face you don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to try it.
I don't know. I mean, it's at its heart, knowing you and your heart, and it's wonderful. I think as a pardon the usage here, gimmick, it's a good one. I mean, it's a Friday. But what if I don't know? There's
I'll cover anything big. I mean, I won't miss anything.
I know.
But as long as Trump doesn't like nuke Sweden tomorrow, I want to do positive stories. Now, look, by positive stories, I mean the economy. I mean
great things,
the GDP,
absolutely.
the accomplishments.
Within that realm, absolutely, you bet.
I mean, there's a ton of stuff that's going on right now. I mean, just look at the last 24 hours. Global foundries investing $18 billion to boost U.S. chip production. A judge threw out the DNC's election commission lawsuit against Trump. Trump has a pretty productive conversation with Putin. That kind of stuff. I want to talk about Rasmussen's right track poll hits 50% for the first time ever.
Never happens. That poll, nobody ever. You never get a more than 50 because here's why. The general, and it's a weird question: is America on the right track or wrong track? What a weird, vague question, but I kind of get it. It's worth asking. The reason you never get to 50% is half of America is always angry, no matter who's president. Half of America is always angry, and there's always a smidge of people who just like to complain. For that reason, you never get to 50 plus on right track, wrong track. And you do
realize Barack Obama didn't have 50% in his second term, at this stage in his second term. Do you realize, and this is what we want to focus on Mike's Good News Friday. Look, Eric Hansen and I always have a running joke about the laziness of talk show hosts who do like open line Friday. It's like, all that means is you didn't prepare for the show. That's all that means. That's right. You want the callers up. Good news. It's open line Friday.
You mean people like our colleague Chris DeGaulle and that other guy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What was his name? Rush Limbaugh?
Open line Friday. Go, whatever's on your mind. NASCAR Friday. Let's talk NASCAR.
Here's the dirty little secret. Aren't we all doing Open Line Friday every day? Is there a day on the Mike Gallagher show where you're talking about, let's say, 2 or 3 things you got going, where there's a really good call about something else, you're not going to take it?
Thank you. Well, mine is yours. You and I do caller-driven shows, and me probably more than most. I'd rather talk to Bob in Denton, Texas, than I would, some politician or author. So I think this is going to be cool. I'm going to try this. I'm going to see how it goes. Pray for me. Maybe it's going to be a good day for our prison fellowship campaign. I always want to remind Mark Davis fans about sponsoring a child to go to summer camp, a Christian summer camp, the child of an American prisoner. Please go to MikeOnline.com. We got like almost 600 kids sponsored in just a couple of weeks, so it's a beautiful, beautiful program. So that's good news. Good polling numbers. I think the audience can tell you're mocking me.
No, I'm not. It's so weird. This is very inside baseball, and it's like there's something about topical self-limitation that I could never do. I will never do Good News Friday.
I used to work with a guy.
Going to be something I'm going to want to fuss about at 8:30, and I can't do it because it's Good News Friday. I mean, I know, but you be you, and I love you, and it's a great idea. I love it, and I think the audience will love it too. So don't. Listen
I used to work with a guy in New York who's still a friend. A very colorful guy named Lionel.
Right.
And he liked to do topics like, what's the worst smell you ever encountered? Give me a call. What's the worst thing you've ever, and he loves topics like that. And by the way, Lionel is back, got an overnight gig in New York on WABC in New York City.
Yeah, that's an interesting
good for
cat,
him,
man. Interesting.
Oh, he's
guy.
a very libertarian, conspiracy guy, but funny as can be. One of the
Started
funniest
out
people.
his broadcasting career as a
caller here in Tampa
at
Bay.
WFLA in Tampa. Absolutely.
That's exactly right. And dirty little secret, he did nothing personal. I've never taken it personally. Right. He didn't want a partner on the morning show on WABC in New York. He did not want.
You mean like do a you and Lionel show?
Yeah, he did not like that.
Dude, there's no.
He did not like that.
Mike, there is nothing like the love you and I have for each other. Stipulated.
Yes.
You and I don't want to do a show together. I don't do except for that one
day.
Yeah,
but the problem was, the problem was I was doing a show with him. I mean, it's not like we had an option.
Whoa, no, wait a minute. What?
I was his partner. It was the Mike and Lionel show, and he didn't like it.
He made clear he didn't want to do it.
Well, he didn't make it clear. Just trust me, he didn't like it.
I had the opportunity at WRC in Washington. I had the opportunity to do a sort of a counterpoint with a liberal host. I love segments like that, and I love guests that I disagree with.
Me too.
I love.
Me too.
But every day, blah blah blah, crossfire. Look, no, I said no. I don't want to do it.
10 minutes of you interrupting me is enough. That's all I want is 10 minutes a day. I couldn't do 2, 3, 4 hours of it. But no, he made it clear, not really publicly, but kind of the way. But that's okay. It's water over the bridge, water under the bridge. I mean, it's the past, and things turned out pretty well for old Gallagher and for Lionel.
He's not over it.
Maybe he is. I don't know. We'll see. I love you too. Happy Thursday, and I'll see you on Good News Friday tomorrow.
Yay, love it. That's Mike. He's there for you every day, 10 o'clock, as soon as we're done on 660 AM The Answer.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.